Hey, this is Donna St. Louis. How are you today? I just realized that I turned off my phone and my volume and everything, so let me just make sure everything's up and working. All right, so we are on today, chapter 6, and this is all about operations, especially when you're an entrepreneur. And I got to tell you, the number one challenge that I hear once entrepreneurs have got up and running is how do they streamline, how do they hire people, where do they find people, how do they know what to hire for? That's one of the bigger challenges. Like, people just don't know what to hire for. So, bit of a recap, and then we're going to move forward. So the recap is that we've talked about money. We talked about your focus. So we started off with your focus, and we talked about how you make sure that you're focusing on the right things in business, that you know your expertise, you know who your target market is, and you know what product they want, why they want it, how you're going to deliver it. Then we went from there and we started talking about money. And money was a big chapter, right? So we talked everything in regards to money. We talked about not only your marketing and if you're doing your marketing in the right place and where you should do your marketing. We also talked about those leads and how those leads become sales, and then some of the tricks that you can use in order to make sure that when you're doing that marketing, those leads, that sales, that you're closing those deals, and some of the tricks that you can use to close those deals. And we kind of did a high level on those. When I do my retreats, we do a really deep dive in their sales, because the goal is for people to get 10 to 20 times ROI from coming to a retreat. So the retreat is truly an investment that I want to see them make 10 to 20 times ROI on. So now that you have your money right, you have your business right, your focus right, you're looking at your money, now we're going to talk about your function or the operations of your business. So we're in the third quadrant, strategy number 3, and this is all about operations. All right, so here we go. When I'd head out the door with by the way, I'm reading from the 6 kick-ass strategies of the $1 Million Entrepreneur. Probably should tell you that. And you can get that at get6ix.com, and we're on page 53, chapter 6. When I'd head out the door with the type of friends that my mother didn't care for, she'd say, "You are judged by the company you keep, the actions you take, and the tools you use. A hard head can be used to drive a nail, but only a fool would do it, and their stupid friends would let them." My mom was filled with sage advice. Her words followed me throughout business. Little did I know that my mother had planted the seeds of people, process, and technology, a strategy that will follow me for the rest of my professional life. People, process, and technology first formally made its way into my career when I became a Six Sigma black belt. I recognized that to optimize anything, PPT, people, process, technology, not PowerPoint, was required. After starting my business intelligence company, this same trio popped up again as the core of a successful holistic implementation. After finally working as a deep tech geek, I know some people are right there right now talking about, what does she mean by deep tech geek? PPT was the baseline of every successful technology project that I worked on. Okay, so I'll give you a little heads up. I am actually a deep geek. In fact, some of the software, some of the lines of code that I wrote are probably running on your computers right now. I am certified in probably about 5 or 6 different programming languages. I think one of them is dead now. But I'm certified in about 5 different programming languages. I'm a Six Sigma Master Black Belt, as well as a certified project management professional. And I have implemented enterprise projects worth millions of dollars in technology, and did some work before the cloud became the cloud. So I'm a geek. I just hide my pocket protector and my glasses. That's what's wrong with me today. I'm not wearing any glasses. No wonder I can't see. Boom. See, my geekness is coming out right here. Okay. It only made sense that sine qua non of an optimized operation strategy would leverage people, process, and technology. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results may be the definition of insanity. But if you want to go insane in business, keep reinventing the wheel. Your operation strategy is where you keep your business sanity when things go nuts. This is where you bring together people who are paramount to the success of your organization. The process used to reach common goals and the technology leverage to optimize the work. So you want to use people, process, and technology on a regular basis. So the people are the success of your organization. Because if you don't have people, quite honestly, you don't have an organization. The process is what you use to reach the same goal over and over again in the same way. And the technology is something that you leverage to optimize how quickly you get to those goals. So it really optimizes your process. The first time I saw a people process technology diagram in my entrepreneurial role, I thought, well, hell, that's the problem. I ain't got no people. So let me go grab some from the local dollar store. But my experience taught me better. Even solopreneurs have people. The first person, obviously, is the solopreneur. While I was tempted to start my operation strategy with people, I realized that process is actually a better starting point. Listen to me closely. You do not start by identifying the people that you want to hire. No, big mistake entrepreneurs make. I hear this all the time. Dawnna, I need to hire a virtual assistant. I need to hire an admin. I need to hire someone to do my sales. I need to hire someone to do my website. And they have this list of people that they need to hire. And then they get frustrated when they've shelled out all this money and they didn't get what they were expecting. Listen, processes are repetitive actions that people and or technology execute to reach a specific goal. Consider ordering a drink at Starbucks. One of my favorite things to do. Hey, Nick, how are you? You like the word? I don't even know the word that I said. You got to type it up so I can read it. You place an order for your drink. The cashier scribbles your name and the specification of your order on the cup. And it's kind of your name. It's never really your name. She places the cup in line behind other cups. You pay for your order. The barista prepares your drink based on specs. Your name is called and your drink is placed on the counter for your retrieval. That's the process. Seems pretty simple and runs like a process is where is that? Yes. Seems pretty simple and runs like a well-oiled wrestler down a slip and slide. I couldn't say that. Well-oiled wrestler down a slip and slide. I'm glad I wrote this and didn't have to say it out loud. Though imagine for a moment that a single barista handled all the steps during the 8 a.m. rush. Y'all been at Starbucks at 8 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm talking about. The barista would be woefully overloaded and fail miserably. But this is what so many entrepreneurs, new leaders, and small business owners do. They believe that they must singularly own every part of the process and that no one can do any part of the process as well as they can. Recognizing and correcting this mistake is where people and technology come into play. Not only do you want to hire the right people, you also want to leverage the right technology to optimize the process of managing and reaching your goals. You cannot, this is all about people and process. You cannot throw 9 women at a pregnancy and have a baby in a month. Trust me, I'd have a lot more female friends. You need to know what you're doing before you add more people to help do it. And that's why the first P in PPT should be process and not people. Think of the processes as the stuff that you do every day, how quickly you do it, the order in which you get it done, and the dependencies of that action. In the Starbucks example, the barista making coffee is dependent on the customer placing an order, right? Otherwise, why is she making it? The speed at which the coffee is made is dependent upon the swiftness of the steamer heating up the coffee, the briskness of the cashier's scribbles, and the agility of the barista to get the job done. All of these actions play a part in the duration of the process. When defining a process, you first need to understand the goal and then tweak the elements in the process for improvement. For Starbucks, the goal is to provide the customer with the coffee they ordered as quickly as possible. If doing something faster leads to poorer results, then reduce the speed. Yeah, going slower is a solution. People don't believe that, but it is. So let me say my quick shout outs. Hi, Robert. I'm covering up my thing. Hi, Robert. Hi, Jean. Hi, Loe. Hi, Nick. Hi, Michael. Hi, Natanya, Benoit, Vivek, Rama. It's a lot of people on today. Kalvoom. Everyone is on. I'm so glad to see you guys. Okay, I'm going to keep going. So check this out. Now, the last thing I just told you was going slower in your process is a valid solution. Now, I got to tell you, when I first said this around a whole bunch of Six Sigma people, I thought they were going to literally wrestle me to the ground and kill me because they were like, going slower is not an option. And I'm like, going slower is totally an option. Okay, so check this out. At an airport in Texas, customers complained that they waited twice as long to receive their bags at baggage claims than most airports. Okay, so you know how that goes. You get off the plane, you're going down to get your bags, and it feels like they are never going to come out of that little magical hole. It really does. Process improvement gurus measured the task of getting the luggage from the airplane to baggage claim faster. So they wanted to make it faster, and they simply could not find a way to streamline the process without major and costly construction. So they're measuring this. They're like, how do we get it from the plane to the baggage claim faster? How do we do that? And they're like, there's no way to do this without it costing a bunch of money. And of course, the customers are pissed because they're waiting. Therefore, instead of speeding up the luggage to the baggage claim, they slowed down the passengers making their route to the baggage claim. I'm telling you, brilliant idea. The airport now boasts high customer service ratings in the baggage claim department. Now you might think, oh, Dawnna, come on. No, but let me tell you what else this did. They looked at the process. They said, well, what if we keep baggage claim the way it is, but we route the customers in a different way? Well, what that did was they, instead of routing them straight to baggage claim, they routed them through like where they would have to go through more stores and restaurants and bathrooms. So then the customers are going, oh, I can stop and get something to drink. I can stop and get something to eat. I can stop. And they stopped and they started doing those things. And then the route was a little longer. So by the time they got down there, the bags were coming out. So to the customer who wasn't waiting, they felt like the service was faster. Even though it wasn't faster, the customer was slower. Once you understand and document each of your processes, then you can start thinking about people required to complete them. See, we always think about the people first. Oh, I need an admin. Oh, I need someone to do sales. No. First, you need to know your processes. If you are a recovering control freak entrepreneur like I am, then it's really difficult to let go and hand off your valuable stuff to other people. But I also know that if I wanted to grow my business, I couldn't do everything. To relinquish control and still remain sane, if you want to do that, you want to relinquish control and still remain sane, this step-by-step process made it easier. So here's the process. The first thing you're going to do, and listen to me closely because this is step-by-step. Write these down. If you don't have the book, because it's in the book on page 58, you're going to take 1 month. Hey, Molly, you're going to take 1 month. And you're going to write down all the processes that you do in a single month. This is critical. Everything that you do. So you get up in the morning, you go through your day, and as you're going through your day, you're writing down what you're going to do, what you do. Now, if you want to put time to it, you can. That would make it better. But for 1 month, you're going to write down everything you're doing, and you're going to do this entire list. Then you're going to score each activity 1 to 10 in regards to how well you do the work. The higher proficiency earns a higher score. Go back through each activity and add the following letter designation for each. A, I should be doing this because at the end of the day, this makes me money. Or B, I shouldn't be doing this because at the end of the day, this doesn't make me any money. Now, when you do that, I'm going to show you what you're going to do. You're going to plot it to this. See this? So, the 1 through 10 actually goes over here. Right? So you would start 10 at the top, 1 at the bottom. Once you plot those, by plotting your activities in that table that I just showed you, which is called the Business Activities Delegation Table, you will gain a clear view into where you're spending your time, where you should be spending your time, and those activities that you should delegate. Now, here's a trick for you. Pay attention to this if you're having this issue. Things that fall in, let me see if I can see this, in this quadrant over here that says hire someone, get a partner, that's actually where you should start, because those are things that you don't do well and you shouldn't be doing them. So you don't do them well and they're not a good use of your time. If you don't do them well and they're not a good use of your time, you should start there first. The reason is you're going to hire someone who does it and they probably love to do it and they do it well, and it is the best use of their time. This means that you're not going to micromanage them. You're going to be more willing to let go. So that's where you want to hire first. When I followed this diagram, it was easier than I thought to delegate the hire for these activities, the ones down in the corner. See, I wasn't good at those activities. I didn't like those activities, and I would spend no time micromanaging those activities. My new team member knew that all I wanted was results. And what I would do is I'd say, listen, this is the work that this is the activity, this is the thing that has to be done, gathering leads, that has to be done. I'm looking for this level of quality. These are the results I'm looking for. And then I left it up to them to determine how to get them. You can use a carrier pigeon or smoke signal to get a message to your client. So that's everything about, I should have said that. That's everything about people and process. So identify the process and then determine the people you want to hire for. But not until you fill out that diagram. Once you fill out that diagram, everything becomes clear. Okay, let's talk about a little bit about people and technology. You can use a carrier pigeon or a smoke signal to get a message to your client. You can. It might not be the best way to communicate, and your clients might leave you, but there are no rules here. Getting quality work done more efficiently is where technology comes into play. Even while writing in this book, it was easier to collaborate with my client, with my writing coach and editor using Google Docs than it was to save a document, manage different versions, and email those versions back and forth. But technology is often confused with the zeros and ones associated with computers. Tiger Woods took the golfing world by storm in 1996 at the age of 20. When he won 2 tournaments in his first season on the PGA Tour, let me read that again. Tiger Woods took the golfing world by storm in 1996 at the age of 20 when he won 2 tournaments in his first season on the PGA Tour. In 1997, he won 4 tournaments and became the youngest golfer to win the Masters. I'm fairly certain that he would not have done so well using a hockey stick. Sometimes the technology you need is found in the tools that you use. At 7 a.m., my Keurig coffee maker steams out my first caramel macchiato. My first. Transforming from an antisocial hydra into a somewhat socially acceptable human being. At 2 p.m., my Roomba leaves its dock, sweeps my floor, and freaks out my dog. Every hour on the hour until it's full, my freezer makes the ice I use for an afternoon of margaritas and daiquiris. Without the technology automatically running these processes, I might actually have to do them. Imagine the horror. All 3 activities require minimal human intervention and are the definition of automation. They support the process and eliminate the tedious and repetitive tasks that we don't want to do. In business, we see this type of automation with customer relationship management campaigns, autoresponders for emails, and calendar reminders for appointments. Technology and processes do not eliminate the participation of people, but rather minimizes how often people are involved in the process. This is really important because the elimination of people in the technology and process relationship would lead to a rise of the machines. That's a book and a blockbuster movie, and you can also see the iRobot reference. So you want to make sure that you're defining your own people, process, and technology. Now, Jamie Chambers is a colleague and productivity expert of mine. She complained that her day was overrun with random tasks. She had to forage for leads, put the leads in her CRM, execute her sales strategy, including follow-ups, and then deliver the contracts she'd already sold. Many times she stopped her sales process in order to deliver the services that she sold, which then threw her business into famine. She'd start her sales process when the contracts ran out in hopes of returning to feast mode. And you guys have seen this, so it's going to be backwards. But you've seen this feast and famine mode where you're killing it, you're making a whole lot of money, now you got to go and forage for money, now you got to make some money, now you got to forage for money. The feast and famine doesn't work, right? Jamie finally jumped off this roller coaster by following a straightforward strategy used by Six Sigma experts who specialize in process improvement. And I'm going to show you them really, really quickly and really easily because we only have 2 more pages. So the first thing you want to do is define your process. This is what we were talking about before. What are all of the things that you do? So you want to, whether for Jamie, she was gathering new leads, she was uploading and tagging and categorizing leads into the CRM, adding leads to the email campaign, reaching out to interested opportunities, writing new agreements, doing collections, creating a new client package, lead client coaching, following up with clients. Like, she was doing all of that stuff. Now, her list is much longer than that. But from a high level, we can see that several of her activities can be outsourced. But before Jamie heads down the path of outsourcing activities, she needs to get a handle on what actually transpires during each activity and the duration. This information will be valuable when hiring someone to do the work. See, the second thing that people get challenged in is they're like, I want to hire admin for how long? 10 hours. How do you know? Do you have 10 hours worth of work to give her? Most people don't know. They don't know how many hours they actually have to give someone. So they wing it and they go, I don't know, I think 10 hours. Then you're frustrated and the admin is frustrated because at the end of the day, you ask them to give you 10 hours of their time, and now you can only supply them with 2 hours worth of work, and they can't validate their existence because they don't have enough work because you haven't given it to them. So we're going to stop making that crazy process happen. So the first thing you want to do is you want to identify your processes. Then you want to measure them. Second one, measure them. You want to look at each process and you want to say, what are the steps and what are the durations? What am I doing and how long does it take me? Then you want to analyze your process, right? You want to make sure that you're looking at every step. I remember walking into Jamie's conference room, now jokingly dubbed the Room of Lost Trees, and took in the expanse of the scene. Every wall was covered with papers documenting one process after another. No wonder I'm tired and broke, she said. Only 3 of these processes actually have anything to do with making money. She chuckled. This was sobering and a much needed view of her business. This is the next step. Over the next 3 weeks, Jamie analyzed whether each process could be pared down, automated, delegated, or removed. Pared down, automated, delegated, or removed. Those are the 4 things you have to think about when you're looking in a process. If there was fat to be cut, Jamie was finally cutting it. So when you start looking at those processes, especially if there are things that you should not be doing, they need to immediately go over into that quadrant of hire someone. They're not for you to do, and especially if you don't do them well, you got to get rid of them. Step 4, improve your process. It was time to implement improvements. This is where Jamie actually did the hiring. And here's the best part. When she hired them, she gave them the authority to determine what software would be the best software to use. In other words, what technology did they need to do the job? Not what technology did I want to use, not technology did Jamie want to use. What technology did the expert that you hire, what do they want to use? Now, sometimes people will walk in and they're like, oh, I want the one that costs $10,000 a month. And you might go, you're out of your damn mind. So you might have to put a couple of constraints in regards to either time, money, work, whatever, and what you expect to get out. But at the end of the day, Let the expert that you're hiring tell you what technology they want to use to do their job more efficiently. Then you can control your process, and that's step 5. When you can control your process, it actually allows you to streamline it. It's one thing to put in a process. It's another thing to control it. When I expect my Keurig to deliver a latte by 7:30 and all I get is hot water, I realize it's because I forgot to put a coffee pot in the machine. When coffee pours into my countertop rather onto my cup, I know it's because I forgot to put a cup in the right spot. This is the reason for control. Sometimes things go wrong. So you might need a checklist to remind you to do tasks like put water in the coffee pot and put a cup under the coffee. Usually when incidents happen, by the way, it's human error. Putting controls in place without becoming a psychotic control freaks help processes from failing. After a year, Jamie made minor changes to her processes. Today, her business is thriving. She still uses the Room of Lost Trees to manage her business processes, but she's definitely got off the feast and famine roller coaster. So those are the steps you want to use. You want to make sure that you're following the define, measure, it's DMAIC, by the way. It's define, measure, analyze, improve, which is where hiring happens, and control. Those are the 5 things you want to do. And you want to make sure you take those processes and put them in this grid. I mean, not that grid. That's not a grid. Hold on. In this grid. There you go. Put them in this grid. So that way, when you are getting to the point where you're ready to hire, you're hiring people for the right things for the right amount of time, and you're not just winging it. That's not the way to go. And if you follow that, you'll find that your functions, your initial functions, will totally work so much better, and you'll be killing it. Anyway, that was everything today for strategy. Believe it or not, we're already done with our 3rd strategy. And the one we're going to be looking at tomorrow is all about mission, vision, and goals. And oh my God, people screw up goals. So we're going to do the first half of goals tomorrow. Anyway, it was great to have you guys on. If you have any questions, please ask them. Please share this. And if you haven't been watching, I've been doing every chapter. So I think there's about 6 videos now. So you can go back and you can look at the videos and you can start from scratch and you can catch up. Anyway, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one.